Phosphor Dot fans, Earl at thelogbook.com, back in the virtual arcade to play the game to play on May the 4th, as in May the 4th be with you. We are, of course, talking about the original Atari Star Wars arcade game.
Red 5 standing by.
And of course, you are Luke Skywalker. And this is the Battle of Yavin, and you've got to win it. You have one life. You don't have 3 lives. You have one ship, and you have just 6 shields between you and extinction. I'll get you guys later. They're always going to build another Death Star. Heck, sometimes they'll wait a few movies and, 20 years later, and they won't call it the Death Star. Attempting to play a decent game of the Star Wars arcade game at home is fraught with difficulty in the world of emulation because you do not have the original controller. Now, the controller for the Star Wars arcade game was originally created when the U.S. Army contracted Atari in 1981 to create a training simulation for the Bradley armored vehicle, which was based loosely on Atari's Battlezone arcade game. The Army had been the Atari. Yeah, that's what we could have turned into. Atari had kept making simulators for the Army. The Atari. Atari was awfully. The Army was awfully impressed with Atari's Battlezone, and so they wanted a modified version of it made to train recruits on the proper operation of the Bradley armored vehicle. And Atari obliged, although the designers absolutely hated the assignment. And let me explain why. I've met enough of the designers, both of this game and other game designers from that era, to know that coming out of the 70s, if you had computer programming skills, there was mad money to be made in the defense industry. Well, I could sit here and beat about it. Do you have something else in mind? But a lot of the game programmers kind of came from the early 70s computing scene, which was joined at the hip with kind of the burgeoning counterculture movement. And so you had guys who had mad computer skills who could have gone into the defense industry to program missile guidance systems or what have you. They didn't want to. And for people of that mindset to suddenly find that their employer had put them in bed with the military-industrial complex, they weren't too happy. So the Star Wars controller, the arcade game controller, was derived from, whoa-oh, I am defenseless. I am going to die suddenly. It was derived from the controller developed for the Bradley training. Okay, now you have towers that you have to shoot the tops off of. So you're going to have to... You can't just hug the ground and blow up the bunkers now. And you're going to die. It's going to be terrible. So you have all of these, all of these programmers have a counterculture bent, who very deliberately elected to do something with their programming skills other than go into the defense industry. And, you know, that's how you wind up with, you know, some of these companies like Atari, which were kind of, you know, at least at the point of origin when they first started out, were kind of hippy-dippy. But Atari was now owned by Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers was like, hey, our big chance to be a defense contractor, what the hell, why not?
I'll be with you. Red 5 standing by.
The controller for the Star Wars arcade game is something that there really is no way to approximate it at home. So the secret for how I am actually managing to aim and hit stuff, I'm playing the game with a mouse right now. Now, as I record this in 2020, ever since just before last Christmas, there has been one of the 1-up arcade machines, and you get it at Walmart for about $500. You know, I would love one. You know, I have a birthday coming up, assuming we all survive. So anyone who's feeling particularly generous, yeah, just let me know. Anyway, the
It's not bad. R2, see what you can do with it. Nope, trust me. Yahoo! You're all clear, kid!
So that's how I'm actually managing to aim and stuff. Playing this with digital controls, like, you know, using the keyboard cluster, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. The 1-up arcade version does have the original controller, or, you know, or a newer version of it. It's a little flimsy. Anyone who has owned one of the arcade games has always known that that controller, because people, for whatever reason, being terrible creatures, you know, they treat arcade games like a punching bag. That controller always took a lot of abuse if you had a Star Wars machine on location. And, you know, it was one of your #1, that and the display were your #1 vectors of failure, where you're going to have to spend money to replace parts. The controller, the screen. You know, because again, this is a vector arcade game, so you have kind of a specialized display since it was not a raster screen. I really like this early level where you can just hug the ground, blow up some bunkers. Go bonkers on the bunkers instead of hunkering in the bunker. It becomes a lot more work later. Ow! I will say this about this game.
Let's go!
This game came out when I was 11, and walking into your local arcade and seeing that they had... Yeah, buddy! You got your force right here. Seeing that machine, especially if it was the cockpit, if it was the one that you sat down inside, the arcade I went to, the first place I saw that had the cockpit, they charged 50 cents to play. And as much abuse as I know these machines took, yeah, okay, I can totally kind of see that. I thought I was going to die there. But instead I'm gonna die here. Okay. You know, let's get down to the ground. Bunker with the bunkers. Cower from the towers. Ah! Yeah, you can actually run into the towers if you're not careful. I always find that really amazingly embarrassing when it happens. he said very calmly.
Use the ball scoop.
I'm trying. Whoa. I may be dealing with someone whose Schwartz is bigger than mine. It would have been... Oh! It would have been funny if someone had licensed this exact same game and turned it into Spaceballs. Just different digitized voice clips in there. The Schwartz is bigger than mine. Our Schwartzes are tangled. Or maybe not. But seeing this game in the arcade, seeing this sit-down version when you were 11 years old, your childhood was awesome. Whatever else sucked about your life, man, if you had 50 cents on you for the next few minutes, life was going to be kind of cool. And that's kind of what this always brings me back to, is just some of those cherished childhood memories. You know, in 1983, probably would have been my brother carting me around to different arcades around town all summer long while he was home from college and while I was out of school. And, you know, that was summer for us. He would, you know, we would go to arcades. He would, you know, he'd run into his friends and talk with them, and I would go blow up the Death Star. What is not to love about that? So, yeah, I totally, flimsy controller or not, I would kind of like one of those one-up arcade machines that plays all of the Star Wars arcade games. It has 3 games in it. It plays Star Wars, this game. It plays The Empire Strikes Back, which was kind of a, it was a conversion kit that you added onto a Star Wars machine. If your arcade clientele were, you know, really terrible people who suddenly decided that this game was old and not fun anymore, you put the Empire Strikes Back expansion in it, and it changed up the game quite a bit. There was also a Return of the Jedi game that Atari did around 1985, I believe, except it was a raster game. It was not a vector game like Star Wars and Empire were. And it just, I don't know, that game kind of broke the spell. I wasn't as happy with the Return of the Jedi arcade game. But with this game, with Star Wars, oh, absolutely. This was just a wonder of childhood. Thank you for watching.